too.
Well, I've been sitting here deliberating about whether to bring this up. It's a date, space, and time issue, but would invite your thoughts. Our decision about a date was not made collectively. One of the organizers, the person who sort of got the ball rolling, set the date, and it was largely based on when the space that we were looking at was available to us. And not surprisingly, finding a space in Los Angeles is really difficult. Finding a space that's central, not even central, but that's convenient enough for enough people to get to. So we had access to a really lovely space at a gallery. And so our seder is going to be on Sunday afternoon, the 21st, which is also Easter. And we've had some conversation about that. I think the coalition partners who are most likely to attend are Muslim or Buddhist, but I don't want to make assumptions about that. But that's what we got. And if anyone has any thoughts, suggestions, just anything around that, I would really appreciate it.
I have thoughts about Easter. That when we want to do any kind of program in coalition with other groups, we tend not to do the program on Easter Sunday, because it's just really hard to say we want to be open and welcoming and pretty much preclude anyone who's at all an observant Christian. So we just don't. Which is partly this year how we're ending up at the end of Pesach instead of at the beginning, because the first 2 nights were not an option for people, and the other weekend time was Easter Sunday, and that doesn't work. So yeah, it's real. It's a real consideration, absolutely.
It's also just like a funny, like how often have we been invited to coalition things on Jewish holidays? I don't mean it to say that that we shouldn't always be opening and welcome to everyone. But I just am just like putting that out there on the table also, that happens to us a lot.
It happens, but it doesn't feel good.
It feels horrible. No, right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Precisely.
It shouldn't.
Right.
It's both a reason to figure out how to avoid it, and also yeah.
And there's so many people are in even first of all of JVP is not Jewish. They're members of JVP who are Christian or Muslim or whatever. And just because there are many who are doesn't mean they don't have Christian partners. Like it's not even the coalition groups. It's often the people who are here who may it just gets really complicated. So yeah, I mean, we do know exactly how it feels when we're invited on a Jewish holiday.
I wonder if like you're stuck with it this year. It sounds like, or like it sort of seemed like that's what it is. Like if you need to do it and you already know it doesn't feel good, just seeing what it feels like and noticing it, and then making a different decision for next year, because it just sounds like that's what you have. So I don't. So
yeah, don't worry about it. If that's what you're going to do it, of course. Of course. And this year is a weird schedule. Like it's not going to happen all the time. It's like Passover doesn't always start on Good Friday. This year it does. Yeah. Like it gets complicated. But yeah, of course.
Well, thank you. I am glad I brought it up, and I can't promise not to worry, Linda, but
that was sort of why I wanted to say the point.
Appreciate your feedback.
Yeah, that was why I wanted to say the point about how it happens to us a lot. That like the guilt don't let the guilt get you.
Oh, it's not about guilt at all. It's about what can you do and when can you have it and what works and how many days are there in the week. Like there's a limit, right, to the number of days you can do.
Truly. Han,
I just want to ask this question before we all leave.
Mhm.
Not related to the previous point, but like if people can like respond to it over email or something, that's all I really need. But we are getting a stronger singing culture at our monthly Shabbats, but I don't know what songs to bring to Passover because a lot of them feel a little stale to me. Maybe tips on like how to make the stale songs seem not stale to me would be great, but just like song ideas. I would love some song ideas. I don't know, maybe Kip, you have an idea of like how to collect those for us, but please. That would
Yeah.
be
Well, so in a couple of seconds, I want to transition into a conversation about how this group of people wants to share resources. I know we're all on like maybe different email lists from JVP that is our resource sharing around ritual stuff, but since we're all here, let's figure something out. I wanted to say one thing about like one follow up to what you just said, Hannah, which is since we have people who are leading their first seder, I was remembering back to the first seder that we did in New Orleans and and like marking the difference between each one. Like you just brought up that like y'all are building a stronger singing community, and just to say that like that doesn't come off the bat. And I think also, Zoe, you mentioned also how people notice really strong like song leaders. But I want to say that yes, that's really important to find those people, and also that it's a muscle that has to be built. And so for people that are just going into their first seder to like really keep that in mind. Okay, so are there any other things before we move into a conversation about next steps? Did anyone want to tell us any sort of magical story of a seder of the past or ask one last burning question? Cool. You can always email me and I can send it to whoever. In addition to these notes, and also in addition to a Haggadah insert that I got to work on with people who are in the New Orleans chapter, and also people who are in the JVP Havurah Network. We wrote a special ritual for Yachatz that is talking a lot about the past, present, and future, and about remembering that this work continues from our ancestors and will continue into the future to our children and to the people who are not yet here. So that's going to be sent out. But how else would you like for us to consolidate resources? One idea is that we can just share emails on this group if people feel comfortable, and we can be sending things as they come up, questions and resources. Should we start with that? Cool. I have one more question, which is, how do people feel about this recording going up? I think I'll exclude this part. Going up on the JVP website. So I'll have the notes sent out to you all and to the chapter listserv. If people want to give a thumbs up, thumbs to the middle, thumbs down. It's very chill if people don't want this to go on the internet. Also, there's an option for us to have it password protected so that the link would be sent out to the chapter listserv. So leaders would get it, and there would be a password included for them to get access to it. So I guess, let's do it this way. Let's do first. One means you're okay with it being sent out without any password protection. Two is that you'd like for there to be password protection, since I can see everyone now. Sorry that this is like not anonymous. Okay, so everyone feels good. I'll give you a chance to later if you don't feel good if you feel peer pressured into this, please feel free to email me and we can have a conversation about it. Cool. If there are not anything else that you all want to say, let's go around and do some appreciations. You can unmute yourself and share. I just want to appreciate this really sweet moment, which is that I got to be on this call with Linda, who's my teacher right now, and Hannah, who's one of my really dear friends. This felt really cool for my worlds to be coming together.
I want to appreciate all the wonderful seders that are happening in so many parts of the country. It's really exciting that this is all going to happen on different days and different times and everywhere.
Yeah.
I just want to appreciate how inspiring it was to listen to all the different ideas that people have, and all the all of the amazing work that people are already doing and have been doing, and what can be built on that. So thank you.
And I too want to thank everyone for sharing all their wealth of experience and their perspectives and the knowledge. And for me, this is a breath of fresh air because I spend a lot of my time doing legislative advocacy and lobbying and talking with legislators. And this is just really a big lift off my shoulders. It just seems easy. It just seems easy compared to the hard road ahead of us. So I want to thank you all, and meeting new people in JVP has been really fabulous. So thank you all for your great work and brilliance and creativity.
I appreciate the way that this is organized, and the combination of broad themes and very concrete. The do's and don'ts were extremely helpful. And I'm leaving with, we've already pretty much planned our Haggadah, but I'm leaving with ideas about things that I'd like to add, things I'd like to change, a conversation that I'd like to take back to our organizing team. And I always appreciate an opportunity to, even virtually, get to connect with other folks in JVP around the country. And so it's really nice to be on this webinar, which has been small enough and interactive enough to be able to do that. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I'm appreciative of the small group too. Like I have some sense of what each of these cities is like, where they are in the journey. I mean, that's just cool. Like and I've learned a lot. I have ideas and stuff too. Since we're only on our third seder, they pretty drastically change. Like this one is just shaping up, and I'm excited to bring back some of the stuff we talked about.
I appreciate the 4 ancestors idea. I'm really curious to think more about that. And Rachel, thank you so much for holding the call for all of us and facilitating. Really appreciated.
Yeah, it was really nice to be with you all.
Rachel, you were awesome.
Thank you. It's so nice to meet you all. This is so sweet. Wendy, did you want to, I think we're going to get bumped off in a really quick second, but Wendy, did you want to say anything really fast?
Yeah, it's really, I just feel inspired by hearing everyone's relationships to this ritual. And it's just like exciting how many different ways we can do this ritual, and that we're all, from different places with similar political orientations doing the work. So it's exciting to hear about.
Cool. Thank you all. It's been so nice to be together. I'll email you all later tomorrow afternoon. Bye.